The first time that I truly appreciated money was when I was slinging margaritas and smelled like a permanent fajita working as a server at Chili's. So this all started back in college, and after I realized that I needed to take financial ownership, and my parents really pushing me through that because I needed to somehow pay for my tuition, and took out student loans. And what I couldn't do with student loans, if I still needed to make rent or food, I got a part-time job working as a server at Chili's. Now, I was making federal minimum wage of $2.15 per hour at that time, and yes, that is really truly the standard for the state of Kansas, and actually multiple states, for the federal minimum wage for tipped employees. So they're really banking on you getting tips to help push you over the actual minimum wage. At that time was like $5 or $6 per hour. I can't tell you how many nights that I spent on my feet, 4, 5, 6 hour shifts, sometimes working doubles where it's 8 hours plus on your feet, coming home and counting out all of those tips and realizing, you may have made on a slow night, oh God, like $15, that's a real slow night. $30 is slow. Better nights for me was like, okay, $80, $70, $90 was like a great night, $100 was a great night, and just really appreciating every single dollar that came your way. One of the reasons is that manual labor and working with the general public creates some very humbling money moments. And I'll tell you that I've had several tables that have come down, and then we have, the whole exchange. They get their food, they go to pay. I go to pick up the receipt, and I've been stiffed. And stiffed means like you did not get any tips, $0 tips. And it's so frustrating going into those and getting stiffed, even though you had provided great service. It's just one of those things that happens as a food server, as anybody who works in the tipped industry. Another humbling moment for me, opposite of that, is I remember having a really busy night. I mean, there's a wait that's over an hour long. All of the tables are full. I've been double sat, where you literally have the host who sits down a brand new table, which you have to go greet, and then they sit down a second brand new table, which you have to go greet after that. So double seating like that can be really challenging as a server, because you have to literally get drinks for both tables. You have to put in both orders, and so it can be a little stressful. And I remember getting a note on my receipt after a table left, and them saying like, I could tell that you're really stressed. Everybody has one of those bad nights where things just don't seem to go your way. Trust me, you will get through it. Like a very heartfelt note of like, you'll get through this. You seem like a really sweet person. Anytime that I got positive notes like that on a receipt, I'd save it and I would put it in the back of my little book that I kept to, take orders. And I would keep that as a reminder that there are good people and good humans in this world. Even if I had a bad table, even if I got chewed out for the food not coming on time or the food order was incorrect, and that there are good human beings in this world that recognize the type of industry that you're in. I think too, for service-based workers, you sacrifice a lot of your time when you are working these jobs, because a lot of these jobs you're working nights and weekends. And those often, when I was in college, those were times that I really wanted to be with my friends and go out and do college game days. And also those were the times where you were going to be making the most amount of money during your shifts. And so I remember feeling resentful about the job at Chili's because I was being pulled away from the things that I really wanted to do, but also feeling grateful that I was able to kind of make friendships with the servers who were there, and getting drinks with them afterwards, going to a bar afterwards to kind of unwind from the night was so great. I think about, all the people and all the friendships that I made there was just so nice. And people like I'm still Facebook friends with, and it's just nice to kind of check in and see how they're doing and remember our time slinging margaritas and tall pints of Budweiser? Those were the days. Those were the days. Another thing too about working as a server, and when you develop those relationships with your coworkers and your manager, I'll never forget, this guy's name is Chris. He was one of the managers at Chili's, and he kind of took a soft spot for my sister and I. My sister also worked there eventually, and he was just so generous with his time and always listened to us when we had complaints at the end of the night. He had kids himself, and so I think he kind of saw us as like extensions of his children maybe, or like kind of acted as an older brother. I'll never forget the time where he said he had extra canned food that he wasn't going to use, I was going to throw away, and did my sister and I want this extra canned food? And we were like, yeah, college students, free food, heck yeah. So I'll never forget, he had a whole box of just like cans of beans and whatever, vegetables, and he was like, here you go. And it was just like the most humbling moment, because I don't know why he had this food. I don't know why he thought of us, but something in him must have said like, hey, these girls are hardworking, they're nice people. It was so nice. Like, I'm gonna cry thinking about it. So Chris, if you're watching this, thank you so much. That like really meant a lot to me. Like core moment, core memory from my time working at Chili's. I think this job was one of the most humbling jobs that I've ever had, because it truly taught me the value of $1, how hard I worked for that, and how I could unfold and like develop and grow from that. And so I think what being a food server at Chili's taught me was to have respect and appreciation and gratitude towards many, and it has gotten me to where I am today. I truly think everybody should have at least one experience in their life working with the general public, because it's such an eye-opening experience. You truly see like both the beautiful hearts and the black hearts of people. Like, there is both out there. I've seen that, I've experienced it. And also it teaches you, how do you want to show up in the world? How do you want to create a more positive impact for others? Whether it's just like showing up with great service and filling drinks without asking, and taking away dirty dishes without asking, or leaving a little thank you with a smiley face on their receipt. Just little things like that have kind of taught me how to bring some positivity into what I do now. So I would love to know in the comments, what one job truly made you appreciate money? Like, where you're like, oh yeah, I actually have to work for money. This is not a joke. Like, I have to work hard for it. What was that one job for you? And then how have you become a better person because of that job? I'd love to know in the comments. If you enjoyed this story, this was totally off the cuff, not my regular posting, but if you enjoyed this story, give this video a big thumbs up. And don't forget, if you want to feel financial confidence again, one that unlocks fun and less payments, subscribe to the channel. Become one of the thousands of millennials who are committed to crushing debt and living payment free. And I'll catch you in the next video.